So today James and I wanted to fix this. This wall was not perfectly straight, so to get the granite in, we had to, as you can see, kind of mess up the drywall and notch that out. But this is where the end of the peninsula is in our kitchen. And we stoned this, and we were thinking about stoning this side, but we didn't have the cabinets put in yet when we were stoning. So we decided just to leave it and finish it later. So our solution was that we are going to cover it with wood because we do have some leftover trim from our cabinets. So James did this. He had this trim, and he notched out this part here, and he's gonna put that in there. And then he made some other small pieces, this piece right here, and this piece right here, to finish this edge over on here. What a difference that actually makes. Good catch. Hi, Levi. Yeah.
I actually think I'm just gonna put that on with wiggle glue.
Smart. That looks fantastic. Now, he's doing what we've done a lot with these cabinets. Go ahead, Levi, you're fine. He's got that little pin of the stain, and he's going through and fixing any imperfections. Oh, it just turned out so good. I love it. Looks great.
Okay, I got the boards planed down. I got a couple of them just kind of seeing what this is gonna be like. I got one board up temporarily. This is poplar. Gonna wrap this LVL beam in it. Yeah, that's a foot wide. I didn't have a piece of a board that wide, so I'm gonna put 2 and 2 together. I'm having trouble seaming them up, but I'm gonna try to stick this one up here and see if it's measured just right. We'll see if this works. You can see where they flared the wall, so I'm gonna have to put some sort of cord around. Well, I decided to go ahead and put the other boards up. I'm gonna put this last one up, and this one's gonna have a huge gap. I'm gonna have to try to use a clamp to pull them in closer. The board is actually bowed. After I planed it yesterday and let it sit, it bowed even more, and I couldn't cut any more off or it would be too short. So we'll wait until Courtney gets home, see what she says. I could probably cut slices and fill it in. Won't be a pain in the butt, but anyways, there it is. It'll end up looking like that. So I made some measurements. I made my first cut. I got a 45-degree angle cut on, let's see here, this side. As you can see here, I'm gonna cut it on the other side, but it has to be 5 1/4 from right here out to here. So I actually could see that board warping as I was cutting it, which is not good. That usually makes it pretty difficult to put in, but this is old barn lumber that I'm working with. I didn't want to buy poplar lumber from the Lowe's or Home Depot or a lumber yard just because of how expensive those boards are right now. Plus it's got more character, stuff like this. I like that stuff in the wood. We got a backup plan if this stuff doesn't work, so. So right here, it went together actually pretty good. So we'll see if I can box in the rest by just slowly working it in and putting some nails in it. It actually seemed up pretty decent on this side.
We are working on the wood beam again this evening. It's a work night, so we don't have too much time, but anyway, explain how the board's kind of shrunk overnight.
You're supposed to put wood in the house to let it acclimate, and I kind of just ignored that. Didn't think it would shrink near this bad, but it shrunk a lot. My gaps are bigger. I had filled the other gap, and that wood that I had filled it with, it actually came out. So I'm kind of starting again, trying to seam up the cracks. It's not going to be perfect anymore, and I'm out of poplar wood, so we're going to do with what we can.
What are you doing with that clamp?
So I'm going to see if I can bring this gap in closer, because it's too wide.
What kind of clamp is
You have to be
that?
careful because this, obviously this clamp's kind of powerful and it will damage the wood. This is poplar, it's not super tough. So I'm not going to give it a whole lot, but I'm going to go as far as I can.
What you doing down there, babe?
Oh, we're just filling in these pieces. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm trying.
The cracks?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it doesn't look fun.
Okay, so I'm going to start putting on our kitchen cabinet handles. Need a measuring tape, obviously, pencil, tape, drill. I have a 3/16 inch bit on mine, and that's because the screws fit pretty good. This is the hardware. I also have an impact. You can use a regular screwdriver. This is part of this jig. This is also a jig that I bought off Amazon. It's for cabinet hardware. It makes the job faster and a little more precise. So I'll show you how to use that, and also we'll put a link in the description below to buy something like this. As far as setting the jig up, the first thing you want to do is set up these two things here, which should match the width of your cabinet hardware. So I already had mine set up previously because I already started doing stuff, but you can see this lines up perfectly there. So these unscrew, so you can unscrew them and slide it up however far you need it. You can center this ruler at the bottom right here, which is what I've done. It makes it easier. Also, you can, this will move along with it. So I've got one here on, works pretty good. And each drawer that is that wide, this is set up for. So the next one will be this one here. And you can see if I set this like so, it'll center it for me. Now I still have to take a measurement to center across and make a mark, and I'll line it up with that hole. I put tape on there so I don't have to mark my cabinet. This is 14 and a half, so I'm gonna mark 7 1/4. Place my jig on here, line it up with my line, make a few marks with the drill. Finish drilling the holes. Alright, get a new handle, that off, get it started. Okay, get it drilled in. So this next thing that we're going to have to adjust is this upper piece, because now that we are on a wider cabinet, we're going to have to move this up. So I'll show you how to do that. Now I'm going to take a measuring tape and I'm going to measure across. So this is 32 and a half, which half of that would be 16 and 1/4. So 16 and 1/4 here. So you check it from both sides just to be sure. 16 and 1/4, that's dead center this way. So to set your jig, you also have to measure up and down. We had about 5 1/4, so 2 5/8 would be center. We can pull this out just a little bit. We'll set our jig on it. So now all you have to do is adjust this height to make sure you're right on your X mark that you made. So I'm going to tighten these up, and that should be dead center. Now for any size cabinet that is about 11 3/8, this jig will work for. So this one it should work for. Those two it'll work for. See, these are wider, so it will not work for them. It might work for this one. I'll have to take a measurement. That should also work for these over here. So I don't have to readjust that jig until I change the size cabinet.
I got home from work last night and I was so excited because James put in the handles. Tons of them. So he put in most of the handles on the base cabinets in the kitchen. And now he's working on putting the hardware on the upper cabinets. So he got a few in this morning, and I want to record him putting in some of the ones over here.
You seen how I set this jig up yesterday? All I did was I add this, and basically that's all I need to put it on a swinging door cabinet. So there you have it. This stops me, go all the way to the top, and they're right here. And this is where the 2 holes are that you drill. And also, I didn't know it, but the box came with some jigs. It's not as good as the jig that I bought, but these are jigs. So we'll put a link in the description below too on these handles.
Wow, that was fast. So it only takes you 1 minute and 30 seconds to install one handle. That's not bad.
I can do it faster, but because I'll go through and tape, put the jig and drill, take the tape off, then put all the handles up.
Oh, so you do it in
I
steps.
just
Okay.
did this to show.
Babe,
Yep,
are they done?
yep, handles are done.
Good. So, funny story. When we were doing the mudroom, we used some of the hardware from the kitchen for this stuff. So we used 4 in here. And when we were putting the handles on the cabinets, we were 1 short. We also had these handles on this, so we just took them off of here. So that gave us 2 handles. Then we had 1 extra, and we put these cast iron handles on there. And I actually like the cast iron handles on that door better anyway, but it was just funny because we were like, no! We didn't want to order another pack of 50 because we only needed 1. The Nugget is kind of sleeping, so while he's sleeping, I'm gonna work on some stuff in the kitchen. So these windows here next to the sitting area with the table have not been caulked. You can see there's gaps there, there's nail holes, and then everywhere around the window, down here around the whole entire thing, we have to fill in this gap with caulk as well. So I'm finally getting to this today. This is the caulk that we use. This is what I use on everything. It really does dry in 20 minutes and you can paint it. Do not accidentally use caulk that's not paintable. I made that mistake before and it was terrible. You can't paint it. And then this is the trim paint that I'm using to paint everything in the house. I really like it. It does take a couple of coats, but it's a nice bright white and you can clean it off easily. I love the faucet, especially because this pulls down and you can use it to spray stuff off, and then also you can choose which type of sprayer you want to use. You turn it on, you can have regular or that. I also really like this soap dispenser because unlike most soap dispensers that has a giant jug underneath the sink that you have to fill up for the soap, this you just pop off and you pour the soap directly in there. So it's really, really easy. And we keep dish soap in this. I'm holding the baby because he's really fussy, so hopefully he doesn't scream. But the kitchen is finished. The wood beam is done. I love how that turned out. Looks really nice. I got Levi coughing in the background, just ignore him. The kitchen hardware, love how that turned out. Oh, I never put this in any of the videos. Let me show you how the pot filler is. If you're building a kitchen, this is like a must-have. Got a pot. So it pulls out and it moves wherever you need it to. And then whenever you need water when you're cooking, how nice is that? Mr. Fussy. I use that every time that I cook. And then this is it. Just got cabinets everywhere. We got all of our dishes and cups and everything that we actually use to eat with every meal on the shelves. I like that because it's really easily accessible. It's right next to the dishwasher, so I can easily get stuff in and out. Yeah, I just really like it. I'll put a couple of links in the description below for the pendant lights, for the faucet, for the pot filler, for the hardware, for all kinds of stuff, because a lot of people ask us about those. So I'll just go ahead and put the links to those in the description.
Looks good.